Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Between Two Brokers. Today we have Giovanna Richard from Smith Spencer Real Estate, and we're going to chat about short-term rentals. All of us own short-term rentals, don't we? And there are trials and tribulations, and I think I feel like I have heard 1,000 times, people calling me and saying, I want to buy a short-term rental in Charleston. And I'm torn up on the inside when they tell me that because it's a very difficult thing. And it's I want to just talk about your real experience. So what year did you buy yours and where is it?
So we bought ours in 2021. It's called the Oyster House. It's in downtown Charleston. And yes, there are good days, there are bad days, there are good months, there are bad months. It just kind of depends. But I would say when people call me to ask me about an Airbnb, I usually tell them, be prepared. Things are going to break. You're gonna wake up some mornings and you're going to cry, probably. But there are also really good months, and I would say you meet a lot of really great people. Of course, I've had some crazy guests that I'm happy to share about. But
and your situation's different because you live on site with you. You're in a duplex.
Yeah, so it's a duplex. So we live on the top and then we rent out the bottom.
So tell everyone about the short-term restrictions in downtown Charleston, just briefly.
Yeah,
Quick
so they're always
overview.
changing, but I would say you can really only short-term rent a property unless it's in the short-term rental overlay. With the proper zoning, you can really only short-term rent a property if it's a duplex and you occupy one side as your primary, or if you have an ADU and you occupy part of the property as your primary residence. There are many other rules, like it has to be older than 50 years old.
You have to have parking.
You have to have a certain amount of parking, which they're always changing.
Limited number of guests.
Limited number of guests. You need to be on site when it's rented.
You have to pay. Don't you have to pay the 6% tax rate for the portion of the house that you rent out?
Yes, so they'll prorate it. Yeah, so like my house is split in two, like evenly. So it's 1,100 square feet, top and bottom. So I have to pay 6% tax on the bottom unit, essentially. Yeah, not ideal.
So, how did you get set up in terms of designing it? Did you have a strategy or did you just wing it?
Oh my. I definitely did not have a strategy when it came to the design aspect, which I recommend to anyone if you're going to purchase an Airbnb, just do it right the first time. Go all in, spend the money, because I have redesigned mine probably 3 times now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've, a couple of months ago, Nicholas and I, my boyfriend and I, painted the entire Airbnb ourselves. Very thankful to say we're still together after that venture. But we've had furniture break, and we just didn't really financially plan for the furnishings and just all the work that would need to be done. Like, even if it's renovated, you're going to need to paint. You're going to need nice new furniture. You're going to want artwork. If you're making it a theme, you're going to need specific decor for that. So we have really, it's taken us a couple years to get it to where it is. I'm proud of where it is now, but I wish I was able to do that right when I first purchased it.
Well, it's a lot of money up front.
It is.
It's you had to furnish it to begin with, and then just taking your earnings and putting it back in.
Absolutely.
And then you started with a property management company.
Yes.
And we don't have to name them, but then you moved on to just managing it yourself.
Yes. So
explain why.
I'm a control freak. I'll start with that. But so we had a property management company. They were great. It was really, for us, it's just that we're there. So when something happens, I just want it fixed immediately.
Yeah. And you see it. I mean, it's under your nose.
Yeah. It's my home. It's where I live. So we started with a property management company for about a year. And then we hired a amazing cleaner. She's so sweet. Tatiana, we love her. And so we hired a cleaning company, and so now we just manage it. I manage all the bookings. I basically deal with all the guests, all their questions, things of that nature, and then the cleaning companies do all the cleaning. But I will say, For me, it works out fine because I work from home a lot too. So I'm pretty much always there. And honestly, I feel we're really lucky. Most of the people that rent are like family of our neighbors or friends. So a lot of times they're not there all day.
Well, that's not by accident, right?
Right.
Because you've marketed to your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is great because then you now have a connection with everybody in your neighborhood for when they want to list their house.
Yes. And I feel like people are nicer. Honestly, I feel like guests have been better since I've been the host. And this is obviously not for everyone. I mean, if you can't answer your phone quickly or, you have a lot going on, I don't recommend that you self-manage because people will get upset if you don't respond to them quickly or take care of items that need to be taken care of. But for me, it works out. I'm basically always on my phone for my job as it is. So I'm pretty responsive. And yeah, I feel like for the most part, the guests have been so much nicer knowing that I just kill them with kindness when they come in. So I'm like, you can't be mean to me.
Yeah, well, who
I
could
don't
be
know
mean
how
to
anyone
Gina?
could be
I
mean
know.
to you.
Oh gosh, I've had some.
Well, tell us a good story. Come on.
Okay, I have a few. So probably the most entertaining guests that I've had this is when we had the property management company. So now I greet all the guests that come in. But at the time I didn't. They just it was like a self check-in. And so these guests checked in late at night and it was the next morning and I was working from home and I kept hearing all of this weird like clicking and chirping. And I was like, what is that? And I just started thinking to myself, I was like, gosh, like the squirrels are crazy today. Like, I had no idea what it could be. And so my boyfriend went downstairs because I was like, can you go see? I don't want to go down there. I don't want to go down there. And he went down and he just like looked in the window and there was multiple caged birds, like parrots, y'all, like caged birds. They were like singing, copying each other. I think there was a rabbit. It was a full-on zoo. And
Gross.
I came running up the stairs and we were not laughing at the time, but we called the property management company and they were like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. We had no idea. And it was an older couple and they were so sweet. These people were so, so nice. But like, obviously I can't have a zoo in my house. Our house is from the 1960s. So you can hear everything for the most part. It's not soundproof and you could hear it outside. Like definitely our neighbors could hear like all the commotion. So unfortunately we had to ask them to leave with their birds.
Can I just say that when I was in college or shortly thereafter, I had a boyfriend who had a roommate that had a bird and his cage was in the corner and the bird just projectile shat into the wall all the time.
Oh my God. I'm glad I got these people out.
Did you make them leave?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I made the property management company at the time make them leave, which is a perk of having a property management company. I
Yeah,
will say
you don't have to
that.
be the bad guy.
I didn't have to be the bad guy, but we were shocked. They had you couldn't really see inside because they had gone to Lowe's or Home Depot and bought like all the sticky blinds that you could, like the cheap blinds so that you couldn't see inside. But yeah, it was an ordeal. So that was definitely the craziest one I've had. In terms of like the meanest guest I've had, we had guests that came and I can't remember where they were from, but they had just bought a new Tesla. And so at our house, we park in the driveway and then it's street parking and it's all residential street parking. Like you can park anywhere on the street. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. And I'm in Wagner Terrace, the neighbors, the streets are wide. The neighbors are further apart. So for the most part, there's parking everywhere. So we have them park like right in front of our house. And these people came with the Tesla. They caused a fit. They didn't want to park their Tesla on the street. So I was like, okay, no worries. You can have our driveway. So Nicholas and I moved our cars and we let them park in the driveway. And the next day I went outside to go to work and they were like packing their car. They were super angry. And I was like, hey, like, are y'all okay? Like, what are you doing today? It was a beautiful day, thinking they were like going to the beach or something. And they were like, you scratched our Tesla in the middle of the night. And we're like, what are you talking about? No, we did not. And so I think they were just the type of people, I think they were fighting. Like we could kind of hear them fighting. So I think they were just having a bad time and trying to like get a refund or leave for whatever reason.
I want to go beat this guy up.
Oh, I was like, well, I actually have cameras, so I can prove to you that no one scratched your Tesla here. I'm so sorry. And yeah, they ended up leaving and they actually tried to fight me for 2 months on getting a refund, which I took the bad review over the refund because I was like, I'm not refunding you that.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one scratched your Tesla. I literally gave you my driveway.
People are such brats sometimes.
Yes. That's the meanest guest.
How has the income been? Is it what you expected? So obviously the biggest surprise was the financial commitment to repairs and like furniture, but has the income, does it pay for itself?
Yes, it pays for itself, which I'm very thankful for. And I would say, like, I wouldn't say it pays for itself like every single month, but we have certain months that make a lot and they kind of carry us through the next, the slower season. I would say the slower season would be January and February. I feel like it's pretty slow everywhere around here at that time. But for the most part, it pays for itself.
Would you do it again?
Yes, I would do it again. And I would do it completely differently, probably, now that I have experience. I would definitely just renovate from the get-go. I wouldn't have to keep going down there and fixing. And I mean, of course, there's going to be things you have to fix in any rental property. What else I would definitely start self-managing probably, and then like get my feet on the ground. And if I needed to hire someone, I would, but I don't think I would let it all go at once from the beginning because I feel like I just was kind of disconnected from it. I think those are the two main things I would do differently.
What about you, Erin, with your Airbnb?
My current one?
Or whatever.
Well, the last one I had was in, Park Circle, so it was a 25-minute drive, and that was the pain in the ass part. I mean, I self-managed just because I didn't feel like it was at a price point where it required a property manager, and like that wasn't worth were they charging you 18%?
Yes.
Yeah.
18%.
So I knew it would be like between 18 and 25%. And I also had mine set after a couple years when I just got tired of running up there 3 days a week. I set it to a longer nightly minimum so that I didn't have to go every other day. Now, the one in the mountains, obviously that's 5 hours away, so
Right.
I'm not managing that. We've only had a couple guests so far, so and I think it's been great. I haven't been there to see for myself, because no one will look at your stuff the way that you do. I hope she's doing a good job. I hired the person I thought that would go through with the keenest eye. But I mean, so far I'm happy. And I think probably talked about it before. I didn't really want to rent this house out, but I had to because I did a 1031 exchange.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see.
It's always a work in progress.
And you have
surely.
your first one.
Yeah. So my mom and I got one in the mountains
Oh, that's
last
right. Sorry,
year.
your second one.
And that's been a shit show. So the rule about like don't go into business with your family is people should listen to that. We had a property manager who was a psychopath, which that could be a whole episode. She like fake planted dirt and spilling wine and dog poop and stuff in the house and would like send it to my mom. Anyway, speaking of crazy people,
For what purpose?
because she wanted to fire my mom's cleaning lady and use hers so she could mark it up and make more money. I mean, she
That
was
is
like
commitment.
a real. And what did my mom say? And my mom used to always say, Susan with her Jesus is King t-shirt. Anyway, so finally, once Susan was caught, she was caught red-handed planning stuff. And so she excused herself from the management. Since then, we've interviewed a bunch of people. I wanted to hire all of them because I don't want to do anything, as we've discussed, myself, except sell real estate. And, my parents have self-managed it. They found a cleaning company. They have a laundry service. And then they have our landscaper who goes and, like, checks on things. And they have maintenance people. So, I mean, that's what you need. But you need time. I mean,
You need time.
some of the questions that people ask about the property and stuff, there's no way that I would be able to handle that. And then I bought one in Park Circle that I have Stay Duvet manage. And I think the estimated upfront cost for a property like that to like furnish it and everything, and they had a list of designers that they provided to me, although I did it myself to save money. But I think so it was like a $500 and something $65,000 purchase, 3-bedroom. I was anticipating, based on everything they said, it was going to be about $65,000 to paint it and furnish it. And I did not spend that, but that's what I think people don't understand. Or if you buy in the short-term overlay, you're spending $1 million plus to get something that's already an up and running business. So the point is, it's a financial commitment, but it's a long-term investment. For me, I don't anticipate cash flowing on anything for like the first year. Mine is an appreciation play. I just want to own real estate in Charleston, and that was what made the most sense to me for that. That was how much I wanted to spend, $500,000. And I want, I couldn't think of anything else. You can walk to the main street. So I thought it was a good location. And the other reason I bought it was because it was built in 2018. So like all the maintenance stuff, I wound up replacing some appliances, but other than that, I know I'm not really going to have to worry about anything. So, having owned old homes, just the hassle of home ownership.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and other people using shit. Anyway, so far so good, I guess, but I think I think owning real estate in whatever form you can makes sense. And I think for young people like you, the duplex thing and renting out one side, I mean, you're not going to do that when you don't have to, right?
Right.
Like you would like to live on a property by yourselves, I assume.
Yes.
But
yeah, it's not as glamorous as people, I think, dream it to be. Like you dream of it as being like this like cute little small town bed and breakfast or something. And it's like, no, people are gross. Their hair is on the bathroom floor, it's and like, I don't know. They don't always flush the toilet or whatever. They leave their hair on the side of the shower. It's just.
Well, I don't understand why anybody thinks anything is easy. Like, I mean, it's like anything.
Right.
It's like, you found a man. Now you're going to get married. Oh, life's going to be easy now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're going to buy this cute little Airbnb. Now life's going to be easy.
Yeah. You're going to be so rich.
Yeah. Anyway. So our message, everything is hard and we get it.
Thank you,
anything
Gina.
else you want to add? So it's the Oyster House and they can find you on Airbnb and Verbo and
Instagram.
And Instagram, yes, at the Oyster House, CHS. And the only other thing I would add is I will only say that I've been plugging self-managing for myself because I also, in my neighborhood, a lot of my friends and past clients of mine have bought Airbnbs and they have the duplex situation where they're living on one side, renting out the other. And so we kind of all help each other. Like if I didn't have their help sometimes, like when you're out of town and things like that, like you need property management company. Like you can't like go out of the country and just leave your house and hope for the best. So I'm fortunate to have people in the neighborhood that you can kind of lean on.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, I would definitely hire a property management company.
for sure.
Words of wisdom.
So if you're interested in buying one, I mean, call us and then we'll
Talk you out of it.
Yeah.
They'll say, call me.
Yeah. And I do think I like doing this kind of stuff because I think it makes me better at my job. I mean, I say that. I think it's how I justify all my real estate ADD. I'm like, oh, I want to live here so I can see what it's like to live in Mount Pleasant. I can see what it's like to own it. You know, I don't know. It's probably bullshit. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Between Two Brokers and tell all your friends. And that's it.